Parents of Reddit, what is something you know about your child that they are unaware of? My son was born with hypospadias. His dong looked like a cobra. It was fixed surgically and now looks totally normal, but the diameter of his urethra is still very narrow. Someday we'll tell him, son, did you ever wonder why your stream of urine is so powerful and gets so much distance? At least he has a promising future ahead selling propane and propane accessories. They are horrible at lying. Mine aren't teens yet, but I hope when they are they both continue to suck at lying. It will make my world so much easier. I know a woman with a 10-year-old. She's told the 10-year-old she has a dimple that appears when she's lying. Now when the child lies, she covers her cheeks so you don't know. I can still see you when you run and hide under my glass coffee table after you've fricked up, you adorable little crap. Next time he does it you should karate chop the table in half and scare the crap out of him. That'll teach him to doubt you. How crappy of a liar he is. He's almost 6. It's not even the flagrant lies like how he fought Shredder at recess, but the trivial crap, like saying that the mac and cheese at school is yummy, or how he doesn't know what the middle finger means even though he gave me a solid single-digit salute the other day when I told him to clean his room. Dang kid. I have a picture of my 2-year-old son naked on roller skates. I'm saving it for something good. I'm thinking wedding montage maybe. 18th birthday party. I know he has a girlfriend, but he's keeping her a secret, as I can't think of a good reason why he'd do that. I assume it's because his girlfriend is a Bruins fan. I have a Canadian Romeo and Juliet on my hands. My 12-year-old daughter doesn't know that I know she started her period. I'm the dad so I figure it's probably embarrassing enough at that age figuring everything about your body out. No need to have dad make things even more awkward by acknowledging it. What would I say anyway? I'm so proud of you. She does a good job of hiding the evidence in her bathroom and my wife is there to answer questions. My dad said he was proud and then told his best friend in front of me. It was terrible but he also explained why I shouldn't get tampons with fragrance stuff on them. I'm his only daughter and I guess he just didn't understand how embarrassing that was. My 5-year-old daughter loves dancing nude in front of a mirror and saying booty booty booty. I'm doing the butt dance while checking out her butt. I'm a buff baby that can dance like a man. I can shake my fanny. I can shake my can. I'm a tough tootin' baby. I can punch your buns. I can punch your buns. I can punch all your buns. If you're an evil witch, I will punch you for fun. Not the parent but my mom died and never told me who my dad was. She didn't know that I knew who he is but my grandma told me when I was 16. Bonus, he was my next door neighbor. We thought my youngest daughter, who is now 3, may have had some form of Down syndrome. When she was really young she had this look to her that made us think something might be wrong. My wife even had people ask her on a few occasions if our daughter had Downs. She also wasn't developing at a normal rate, but she was also 5 weeks premature so we hoped that was the reason. So we took her to a few doctors and even had some genetic testing done. Turns out there is nothing wrong with her. I guess she was just a late bloomer and that look that she had has gone away. My wife and I sometimes feel guilty about having thoughts that something may have been wrong and we have no plans about ever telling her about this. We would be afraid of damaging her self-esteem. Of course we would love her to death no matter what, but to be honest, it was such a relief to find out that she was okay. Hey, from the sounds of it, you two were being responsible parents by being concerned something was wrong. So many parents I know would, and have, in some cases, denied there is anything wrong with their child, preventing them from getting the help they need. I am a parent of 2 boys, but this is more me. I found out recently that I might have a brother and my father doesn't know that this kid reached out to me. I say kid, but he's like 23 or 24. We knew as kids, 5 of us, that my dad cheated here and there, but weren't aware of any possible siblings. So my dad doesn't know that I'll soon be taking a DNA test to find out for sure if this is for real. Poor dude is in the army and just came back from Afghanistan and wants to know if he has siblings cause his mom always told him and showed him where his real father lived when he was growing up. Update. I received the DNA testing kit and am planning on doing it soon. Just have been kinda sick this past week. Well, she knows now, but about a year ago I found a note in my daughter's room that basically talked about how she had lost her virginity. I didn't say anything for a few months because I had already known. Motherly instinct, I guess. And I like her boyfriend. They're good together and my daughter is smart. I knew she was responsible about it. I didn't want to ruin what was probably a very important moment in her life by embarrassing her. You do sound like a cool mom. I feel like a lot of parents would be blinded by too many different emotions to handle this in such a level-minded way. My kids are adults now, so they have their own lives. I knew many things about them, especially during their teen years, that I never mentioned because most of it was harmless, normal stuff young people go through whilst growing up. I did not bring up most of it because I always tried to allow them to maintain their dignity and learn life lessons on their own, without mommy interfering and trying to make things easier on them, or alternatively saving them from errors of judgment. Only if I thought there would be a highly unpleasant outcome would I mention, offhandedly, a situation or opinion that could be applied to whatever was going on, often still without ever acknowledging that I knew what was going on with them. Personally, cannot think of any specific thing right now, mostly the standards, masturbating, trying smoking, drinking, etc. But I just operated on the same mindset my own mother had said to me so often. I always swore I would never forget what it feels like to be 16. I'm not a parent, but if I ever am, I'll use this approach to parenting. When I was 6, my grandfather was watching me while my mom was out running errands. So he takes me to a golf course and lets me play putt-putt when we get to the greens. While I was helping him search for his ball, when I saw it I stepped off a moving golf cart with the expected result. Somehow I'm fine. My grandfather was freaking out and told me not to tell my mother. When my mom picked me up, he told her what happened. On the way home my mom tried unsuccessfully to make me spill the beans. I ain't no snitch. My father said that I have an abnormally large freckle on my gooch, flap of skin between your testicles and butthole. I didn't know this, and he's right. I'm pretty sure my 12-year-old doesn't think we know he's jacking off when he takes his crazy long showers. Why do I let him get away with this? Because I'm his mother, and so long as I don't need to the hot water for something else, I'm okay with it. Because it doesn't need to be discussed. I'd much prefer him thinking this way, because as soon as I finish this post I'm going back to the delusion that he just really loves to take very long showers and really cares about using all of the conditioner to keep his very short hair soft and manageable, and because I'm his goddamn mother. Maybe he just has really deep thoughts. Just maybe. He's only a little guy right now, but I don't plan on telling him that his birth almost killed me. I developed a rare case of postpartum eclampsia and almost died. I feel like it would really weigh heavily on him, so it'll be a secret. Ex-OBGYN doctor here. If you have daughters, you may want to reconsider not saying anything about it. It's important for doctors to know if there's a family history of eclampsia when a woman is pregnant. I'm glad you're okay now and that your little guy was fine too. When my son was 6, I started a Twitter account to share some of the odd things he says. His quotes have entertained family, friends, co-workers and strangers, but he's almost 12 and still doesn't know. My son's still a toddler, but he thinks he's so sneaky. He'll come into my bedroom, door is always open while I nap, while I doze, and he starts out at the end of my bed standing there with his head peeking over a bit over the top. He'll be whispering mama and slowly edging his way to where I like to sleep, head at the very edge by the air vents. He'll lift my hair off my face and lean in real close. Then he makes a pucker noise and leaves. It's weird because to my knowledge no one has taught him that, and I don't want to ruin it even though he is so noisy when he comes into my room. He is becoming part lamprey, a very sneaky one at that. I am 20 years old, not a parent, but I have recently learned from my mother that my father shot our first dog. It was something that was kept separate from me for a very long time. The dog's name was Rex. He was a stray dog that my mother picked up from the streets when he wandered into her store one afternoon. It was about 10 years ago. Rex lived with us for 3 years, and apparently one night when my father was drunk and tried to smack him for barking too loud, Rex bit him. So my father, being in a drunken stupor, decided to take the dog out for a walk and went about 500 meters away from our house onto an empty construction site where he shot the dog. Couple of hours later, when my mother was having a cigarette, being oblivious to the fact that the dog was shot, she heard a whimper. Rex crawled back to our house, bleeding out, and was letting out a squealing noise behind the door. I have lost all of the little respect I have ever had for my father and now barely talk to him. TL. DR. Father shot our dog while being drunk. Hate him now. OMG, he walked back to the house. Jesus man. I'm so sorry. I knew my son was gay before he came out. When he told me, I hugged him and said, "Oh, I'm so happy that you finally get to be you." I truly believe that I'd known since he was around 5 years old. I also know that my middle son cheats constantly at being a vegetarian. I don't know why he feels that he has to hide it. We're completely supportive of his dietary decisions, unless they are unhealthy. This one scares me a little, though. My youngest son is 12 and talks to himself and answers back. I don't know what to do about it, if I should worry. He only does it when he's in his room with the door closed and mostly before going to sleep at night. At first I thought he was on his phone, but nope. His phone is always on the kitchen table at night. I wouldn't worry about the talking to himself. I'm a writer. I still lay in bed, in the dark, and talk out scenes to myself. When I was younger, I was telling myself stories, too. My daughter gave my mother a haircut while she was taking a nap. My daughter was definitely old enough to know that she would get in trouble, but did it anyway. When my mom woke up and figured out what happened, they had a long talk and agreed to keep it between them. She told me though, after making me promise not to chastise my daughter for it. I think she was worried I'd also wake up with a snazzy new haircut. Since then we make jokes that hint toward it to see if my daughter picks up what we're putting down, but she's oblivious to the fact we know apparently. This really made me laugh and would have been something I totally would have done when there was a kid. All these comments about masturbating in the shower, and I'm sitting here thinking that I just really like borderline boiling water rolling down my back. Late to the party, but had to say something. A few months ago, I borrowed his iPad to look something up when my computer wasn't working. I don't even remember what I was looking up, but I do know that it started with M, because Google showed recent searches starting with M when I did that. The first recent search was Miley Cyrus P. It's an interesting feeling when you know your sweet little boy who made you a Valentine card in 2nd grade is looking for P of Miley Cyrus. I deleted his history because his mother would kill him if she found out. She's adopted. In fairness, she is only 2 years old. She will know when she's old enough. To this day I continue to entertain the delusion that my parents have no real evidence or reason to suspect I lost my virginity any sooner than my wedding night at age 36. I knew when they started smoking pot. I was actually thankful for it because music went from Out of the Office baby crap to Pink Floyd. Till my parents might think I smoke pot. My 5-year-old has no idea he's adopted. You would think he'd figure it out since he looks nothing like us. He probably won't make it to his 18th birthday, so we try to make his life as full of joy as we can. Sometimes I think we spoil him. I've tried telling him before, but I don't think he understands. He just gives me this weird look and wags his tail. Well, that was an emotional roller coaster. My parents decided not to tell me that depression runs heavily in our family. My mother had it, my father had it, my sister and my brother. It continues back quite a ways. With this you'd expect them to give me a little warning, but no. So suddenly I find myself in college, living on my own for the first time, stressing over exams, and I just shut down for 2 years. I spent the first 6 months pretty much alone and sleeping all day. My son is only 9 months, so this doesn't exactly apply to me, but my mom knew I had been sneaking out because she read my diary. She only finally told me she knew I'd been doing it when I got caught. Unfortunately, I was caught by a police officer after curfew and had to be taken home. Not a fun night. My mom was like, "If you get caught and are brought back home by the police, I'm not angry at you, only in front of the officers. Free taxi, son." My mom knew since the day I was born that I have a small indentation a few inches above my butthole, as in, closer to my spine. Apparently it freaked out my doctor thinking I had a sealed anus. Not sure how that mistake was made considering their distance apart from each other. I never discovered this indention. My mom was as surprised I didn't know about it as I was surprised it was there. My daughter is completely unaware that her teenage hormones have transformed her from an intelligent, respectful human being into a bitchy, irrational creature that feeds off her father's life force for sustenance. I've been wary to tell her, but concerned if I let it go for too much longer, I'm a dead man. Story, and not specifically parent related. I once went on a family holiday and was joined a few days later by my sister and her boyfriend at the time. The boyfriend pulled me 15-year-old me aside and said, "Your sister knows you smoke." I was confused because I had been fairly good at keeping it a secret, and then it turned out that they had been getting ready to have a shower together in a parent-free house. The boyfriend grabbed one of the 2 shower gel bottles out of the bathroom to find that when he squeezed it that it was full of cigarette butts. My habit of turning on the shower exhaust fan and dashing out into a Lynx bottle had come unstuck because of him not wanting to use my sister's floral smelling shower gel. Apparently when he squeezed the Lynx he squealed like a bee because it was full of cold ashy water. My 6-year-old son can't hide anything from me and my wife. He is somehow afraid that if we ask him a question and finish it with "and you have to swear on God and Jesus that if he lies he will go to heck" before the downvotes start, know that we are not at all religious. We have no idea where he learned this. Must have picked it up at school. Also we do not abuse it. He's only 6 and a pretty good kid. If we want to know if he had an extra cookie, we have ways of getting the information out of him. Mommy and daddy ways. I called in sick to work stomach bug because I was hungover and puking. My mom called my work to ask me something and my boss told her I called in sick with a stomach bug. She drove 5 hours to my dorm to see me cause she thought I was pregnant. I have twins, and although we get asked nearly every week who is the older twin by random strangers, my children believe they were born at the same time. Just as an aside, don't ask twins who is older. It's a freaking stupid question. Not a parent, but my much younger brother used to stutter the first couple of years in school. We never mentioned it, and he outgrew it, and somehow magically the kids and teachers in kindergarten weren't cruel. He is a very sensitive bloke, and is in his late teens, so haven't told him that at all. An irrational part of me always fears that news would trigger a relapse in him. When my son lies to me, he cannot hold my gaze for more than 3 seconds. He thinks he is getting away with stuff. He's not. She has a decent shot at being legitimately crazy. Her mom went from pretty normal to bipolar W psychotic episodes over a few weeks after I'd known her for years and years. The same thing can happen to her, my 5-year-old daughter, and it terrifies me. I plan on telling her when she's old enough. I knew when my daughter lost her V card to her BF because she said something to one of her friends and I happened to overhear it, not intentionally. I try to make sure that she has her space and privacy. That their birth mother tried to trade them for the twins she was pregnant with. It's all in the court documents from the termination of parental rights. The one kid adores her mother even though she was spent more time in foster care than with her. They know they are adopted and they know their mother neglected them though. My parents found a list of things I wanted to do before I graduated with my group of friends. It was all full of crappy teenage crap: get drunk with these people, smoke weed at this location. Fortunately none of these things had been checked off yet, so they couldn't charge me with intent. They talked to my sisters about it, then my sisters tipped me off. So I left the list in the same location and never checked anything off. So when my parents went back and checked the list there was nothing incriminating. Ob's not my kid, but my brother-in-law is like 12, and about a year ago I guess he learned to jerk it because my mother-in-law, every time I see her, has a new and hilarious story about how he pokes his head out his bedroom door and says something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm doing homework right now so don't come in, okay? Promise me you'll knock." No, you have to promise. And one time he apparently called his parents to make sure they were gonna be home late and was like, "I just wanna listen to music really loud and it's easier when you're gone for a while." I think he really thinks she doesn't know. Everyone in that house knows. I wash my hands in the kitchen when I'm over because I'm afraid to touch the bathroom towels. When my daughter was almost 2.5 years old, I finally decided to pluck a 5-inch long hair that was stemming from a mole on her back. It was the longest hair in her body at the time. My older daughter's middle name is James. I really like James as a female name, but it's also her middle name because it's how she was conceived, with the help of Jim Beam. I don't think I'll be telling her that part for quite a few years or ever. I have never ever heard of James being anything but a male name. It isn't always has been male. My daughter will be the most nerdest girl in school. She starts school in the fall. She loves Minecraft, Pokemon, Smash Bros, and we are starting her in Magic the Gathering slowly but surely. Minecraft, cool, creative, engineering skills, neat crap. Pokemon, fun little game, got some strategy to it. Smash Bros, competitive, fairly creative due to the interesting physics, develops reaction time, fun, and just all around frickin' awesome. But then you're getting her hooked on H. Real cool, mamma. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.